Okay, the final item of business is a members' business debate on motion 1737 in the name of Jim Fairlie on Lamb for St Andrew's Day campaign. The debate will be concluded without any questions being put. I would invite members who wish to speak in the debate to press their request to speak buttons now or as soon as possible. And I call on Jim Fairlie to open the debate for around 7 minutes, Mr.
7 minutes. Thank you very much, Presiding Officer. As we are all aware, today is the official day of our patron saint, St Andrew. Now, we share St Andrew as a patron saint with several other countries across the world, including Greece, Russia, Romania, Ukraine and, of course, Barbados, for whom the 30th of November is also their Independence Day, and from today, the date in which they officially become a republic. He is also the patron saint of, amongst others, butchers and farm workers, which, of course, has relevance to today's debate. Here in Scotland, the 30th of November, or at least the Monday closest to it, was designated as an official bank holiday by this Parliament in 2007. And for me, it's absolutely right and proper that we continue to pay due deference to the man who has been celebrated in Scotland for over 1,000 years, with feasts being held in his honour for as far back as 1000 AD. St Andrew is credited with helping the Pictish King Angus defeat the Saxons when, in a dream, Angus was given the message that he would see a cross in the sky and would conquer his enemies in its name. The following morning, Angus saw the saltire in the light of the rising sun, which gave him and his men a huge confidence, and they were victorious in their battle. It was from that time on that St Andrew and his saltire cross were adopted as national symbols of an emerging country. In 1320, with the Declaration of Arbroath, when Scotland declared its independence from England, in agreement with Pope John XI, that St Andrew was indeed made our patron saint. With that kind of history, then surely feasting in his name is every bit as important today as it ever was. Now, we all know that Burns is celebrated around the world as being one of our most successful exports ever. It would be interesting to know what the economic impact of every Burns supper across the globe is. I think it's safe to say that it would be substantial. But what it really does is celebrate our heritage and our culture. And although I have to say personally I've been far too lax in my appreciation of the bard, but you simply can't have a Burns night without the haggis. No matter where in the world, folk know that Burns night must have haggis, neeps and tatties washed down with a good dram. That association of a particular food and a particular celebration is a recurring theme. Turkey for Christmas, steak pie on New Year's Day, and now, I would argue, Scotch lamb for St Andrew's Day. It stands to reason that St Andrew's Day should have its own dish that families across the country can enjoy together, and I have to say, for me, it's a bit personal attachment to this as well. In 2009, I was approached by George Purvis, who I had come to know very well by selling my lambs through him for many years at United Auctions when I was a farmer. He had been attending a Scottish Enterprise Rural Leadership Programme where he and sheep farmer Willie Mitchell came up with the idea of developing a lamb dish to be served on St Andrew's Day as part of the new bank holiday. The idea was to get more people tasting lamb when it was at its seasonal best and to help it become a more mainstream meat to be consumed here in Scotland. For me, it added to our cultural heritage and a celebration of our Saint's Day. But the personal link was that George needed something to launch the idea, and what better way to do that than to have Andrew Fairlie, Scotland's #1 chef, create a recipe for St Andrew's Day using lamb as the main ingredient. I'd been supplying Andy's restaurant for many years with the lamb I farmed, and Andy had cooked it at the Queen's banquet during the G8 summit in Gleneagles, a meal which had the French President Jacques Chirac quite literally eating his words when the food prepared for the Queen and world leaders was declared a culinary triumph, with Scotch lamb from a farm less than 16 miles from the Gleneagles as the centrepiece of the meal. Surely a meat that was good enough for the Queen and the most powerful leaders in the world was a meat worthy of the dinner plates of families across Scotland. And who better to devise a recipe using that meat than Scotland's top chef? The man who prepared that meal even shared the name of our patron saint. I asked Andy to get involved. He duly obliged, and the Lamb for St Andrew's Day project was launched. Incidentally, Andy also is believed to have prepared the world's highest burn supper while on top of Kilimanjaro in 2007. So his connection to our food heritage will, for me, always be much more than his restaurant and his scholarship. However, fast forward to just now, and that early idea has developed and grown very much through the tenacity and hard work of George Purvis, who was determined to make sure that St Andrew's Day and lamb would be synonymous. To that end, he's teamed up with Quality Meat Scotland, the National Farmers Union of Scotland, the National Sheep Association of Scotland and the Institute of Agriculture and Actuaries of Scotland. and they set out to get lamb on the menus and into classrooms for thousands of school children right across the country. I mentioned the project to the General Manager of Gleneagles Hotel, Conor O'Leary, and they too have used today to put a lamb dish on for in their restaurants. The restaurant that still bears Andy's name continues to have lamb as its #1 best-selling dish, despite the fact that I no longer sell the lamb to them. And the Garden Lobby restaurant right here in the Parliament have also put Scotch lamb on today, so huge congratulations to everyone involved for pulling it together. As far as the schools project is concerned, there are fantastic statistics on the participation and a load of great recipes for what me is the most flavoursome meat of all that we produce, but I will leave that to other colleagues to talk about. What this project does in spades is demonstrate that cooperation in the industry, literally from field to fork, is absolutely essential. When it happens properly, the success can be brilliant. So I'd like to congratulate George Povris and Willie Mitchell for the idea and for all the organisations who have pulled it together. And let's all do what we can to make Scotch lamb synonymous with St Andrew's Day. So thanks to those colleagues who signed the motion and attended today's debate. And I wish all of you a very happy St Andrew's Day and urge you to have a good plate of Scotch lamb for your dinner. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, Mr Fairlie. I now call